So the biggest mistake I've made is allowing my environment to limit what I learn. My name's Brent. I'm 35. I'm one of the pastors at Cornerstone Church in Chandler, Arizona. I get the opportunity to lead our 20s and 30s group and also get the chance to preach God's word, man. It's super awesome. Okay, so the reason why I say this is the biggest mistake I've ever made, because at 35, I am just now leaning into how important leadership is. But oftentimes when we think about leadership, we think about leadership from the perspective of the title that you hold. When in actuality, leadership is nothing more, as John Maxwell would say, is influence. So now the question for me that I am trying to not even grapple with, but that I am trying to resolve is, man, how do I lead better as a husband? How do I lead better as a father? How do I lead better as a pastor? How do I leverage my influence to make everyone around me better? I think leadership, while it is valued and heard so often in corporate America, or when we start to aim towards what it is we want to do as a profession, I think the most important thing that you should be doing now is learning how to lead yourself well. If you can't lead yourself well, it'd be difficult to lead others well. I'm shifting gears just a little bit, but when we talk about topics like, hey, love, oftentimes you'll hear people say, especially pastors, one of the most important aspects of loving is dying to self. Well, how do I tie that with leadership? I think leadership requires you to have to go to what Samuel Chan calls is leadership pain. What areas in your life do you have to address that need to die, that hold you back from being an exceptional leader? So if I want to lead my wife well, that means I need to learn how to love her well. If I want to lead my children well, that means I need to parent them well. All right, so personal story. So every dude who desires to get married and have a wife, I need you to listen closely. One of the mistakes that I made was thinking that as a leader in the role of me being a husband was more of an authoritarian posture. When in actuality, I've learned that leadership as a husband, the best way for me to lead my wife is to listen to my wife. And I'm still learning, I'm not there. But the more I listen, the more she sees how much I value her. So the moment that she can tell that I really care, based on the way I listen and respond to what she's saying, it makes it so much easier to lead my family and lead my wife better. So bringing everything full circle, whether you want to lead your family well as a husband, as a parent, in my role as a pastor, I think the biggest thing that you can do in your leadership is simply learn from your mistakes and take the proper course correction. Because I wasn't in an environment that pushed leadership, I'm learning now on the back end just how critical it is. So if you're like me and you weren't in an environment that groomed you to be a leader, don't allow your environment to limit what you learn. So my prayer for me, my prayer for you, is that we will learn from our mistakes. Leaders are learners. So go learn and then lead. My name is Brent Hatchett. Thanks for listening to my story on No Gray Areas.